From its immersive world to influential art style, today I want to discover with you how one unspoken fact led to the rise and fall of World of Warcraft. Very few games had a significant impact on the gaming industry and culture like Warcraft. But there's one key factor to its success that no one really talks about, and that's the game's distinctive art style. Not only did it immerse us into its world, but it gained enormous momentum by targeting the right audience and became one of the most influential games in popular media. And for many people today, reliving the adventure holds a special place in our hearts. Yet, despite a decade of loyal fanbase, its player base has declined. Blizzard's search for a new audience led to struggles with popularity. It unintentionally alienated old fans and hindered its ability to attract a bigger new audience, partly due to a shift in the game's art style that strayed from its original goals. So, let's explore how the game's art direction contributed to its success and downfall, and why targeting a specific audience is so crucial for video game success. Warcraft's captivating art style and immersive world were born from the team's passion for the dark fantasy culture, inspired by artists like Frank Frazetta. Known for his paintings that graced the covers of metal music albums and directly influenced the creation of popular franchises like Warhammer and Dungeons & Dragons, which also shaped Warcraft. His work became the iconic representation of a culture that fueled the passion and inspiration for crafting the three game design pillars that anchors the World of Warcraft's art direction. These pillars provide a clear focus and direction for the game's overall design and development, ensuring that all the game elements work together to meet the needs and expectations of the target audience. Let's look at the first of the three pillars, an illustrative approach. Each territory of the game has its unique color palette, paired with unique silhouettes that blend elements of both tragedy and comedy. They fully immerse players in the game world and making them feel part of an epic adventure, thanks to the art environment. The details and the distinctive shapes give the environment a remarkable visual language unlike anything ever seen in an MMO at the time. It allowed the game to run smoothly on both low and high-end computers, giving it a broad audience reach. The second pillar bears on a cohesive character design. Blizzard wanted players to connect to the characters and to form bonds with other players through cooperative gameplay and shared narratives. Now the challenge was to create a cohesive and visually striking cast of characters with a common visual language. To achieve this, they carefully crafted specific shapes within a common theme for character anatomy to allow flexibility in design while maintaining unity and coherence. And the result is a cast of visually striking and unique characters that feel, like they belong in the same world. And the third pillar conveys a focus on visual storytelling. The world has a sense of Tolkien's adventure with the purpose of history while providing a personalized experience through a sandbox game design. Each dungeon and raid design reflects a piece of the story and culture of the lore and adds a sense of danger and excitement for the adventure awaiting us. So, the story, fantasy, and immersion played a pivotal role in its blockbuster success by captivating players beyond cultural boundaries. And with 12 million active users, Warcraft reached a record success during its prime. However, after the release of Cataclysm in 2010, the player base declined. Desperate to reverse the trend, the team at Blizzard took unprecedented steps to appeal to a new market and consolidate their most significant foothold in China. In doing so, the game's developers introduced a more diverse cast of characters, including Pandaren, and a world with strikingly different culture, all through a more structured game design with guided actions and limited freedom, rather than a sandbox experience. These changes marked the first shift in the game's history. As the game underwent significant changes to find a new target audience, old fans were frustrated. The shift in visual language and core pillars left players struggling to connect with the game and its new direction. Because the changes were not enough to appeal to a different market, but were too distant to engage with the original fan base. This controversial move ultimately drove many players away. As the game struggled to find its footing and appealed to new and old players alike, it lost touch with its original identity and alienated players who couldn't relate to the new direction. But despite the backlash, Blizzard persisted in their efforts to shake things up and evolve the game, but its determination may have caused a rift in the community. Meanwhile, players eagerly sought to recapture the magic of Warcraft's golden age, so a community created a replica of Warcraft's vanilla on a private server, dubbed Nostarius. This project perfectly captured the culture and essence of the game's early days and attracted a devoted community. And as the retail game distanced itself from its roots and attempted to appeal to two conflicting audiences with different gaming languages, it struggled and proved to be a harmful move for the community. As new expansions were released, it became clear that these new areas and game design were not always cohesive, because each expansion had its visual language, often clashing with the original game and other expansions. It created a sense of disunity in the world of Warcraft, forming, at times, a patchwork of different designs and themes in the game. The most relevant examples are the most recent expansions. The world design feels like a Disney animation film because it lacks a sense of adventure and danger due to its rounded shapes. While rounding the corners of a sharp square may seem insignificant, it eventually leads to a circular shape that doesn't fit in a world of solid and pointy edges. When building a world, there's one rule, and that's consistency and vision. Because when introducing new elements, it's so important to consider if they support and strengthen the visual design of the game world. The eyes in the character design can reveal the unique visual personality and establish the mythology of a race. In this case, the shift to a warmer, rounder Disney style is clear, with softer, less fierce facial features. While the original designs may have been rough and jarring, they perfectly capture the dark fantasy theme of Warcraft. Playable characters like the Vulpera in Battle for Azeroth exemplify these changes, because they don't really align with the original lore and don't fit in with the design family of the other races. The Drakthir in Dragonflight is a prime example of Blizzard pandering to a complete foreign audience instead of staying true to its legacy. Regarding the game design, it clearly drew inspirations from mobile games, with rewards that are often uninspired recolors with minimal challenges, and the most desirable assets like mounts and gear sets are locked behind a paywall.
You gotta get the shiny!
Give me the shiny!
The more gold that you can get, the more chaos you can rain upon the field.
These drastic changes in the game design pillars reflected staff neglect by the studio's executives, who wanted to prioritize output efficiency by isolating each department and stopping the collaborative approach. And to make things worse, the mastermind behind Warcraft left Blizzard in 2016. Without Chris Metzger's vision and creativity, the game was at risk of losing its unique identity, making things worse for the fans hoping for a stronger comeback with future expansions. Little did we know, the nightmare had just started. Allegations of sexual misconduct at Blizzard rocked the video game industry. These accusations forced Blizzard to confront its frat boys culture and bid farewell to some of the key figures behind Warcraft franchise. To move forward, Blizzard brought on new talent to fill the gaps. Still, this new hire had no prior experience with Warcraft or any cultural attachment to the franchise, which led to a critical change in the direction and vision of the game, and a loss in the quality of the releases suffered. Despite the high level of talent of the new team, team members, it was clear that the road ahead would be challenging. Additionally, they lacked the necessary support for experimentation, and top-down management unfairly placed other risks of creating further expansion on the staff while limiting innovation. This problem stems from top-down management, who changed the bottom line by prioritizing profits over consumer satisfaction and disregarding creativity to minimize any potential risks to the business. But more importantly, we should remember that despite enduring horrific abuse, the staff persevered and produced content for one of the greatest games ever. We should not overlook their heroism. However, the main question remains: why did Blizzard alter its fundamental principle? Well, the immense pressure to appeal to a broad audience is too great because Blizzard became too big to fail. The consequences would be dire if they couldn't achieve success and maximize profits. To thrive, Blizzard must balance creativity and profits by limiting the production scope of Warcraft, by downsizing their teams and target a specific single audience. So after all this, what will the future of Warcraft become? Dragonflight is probably Blizzard's last attempt at saving Warcraft from its creative bankruptcy. However, the new expansions show some very promising focus from Blizzard. Because they are taking a clear direction, they brought back the classic design fundamentals from the classic era of Warcraft into the world of Dragonflight. The direction means that their focus is on a smaller but defined audience. They focus on less quantity and more quality content with a clear schedule to ensure the game's overall consistency. But more importantly, Chris Metzen is back with a creative advisor position in Warcraft, which is promising because what made Warcraft so special was lost through the years, and it could come back with a more modern approach. And if Microsoft completes the acquisition of Blizzard, the future of Warcraft will likely be on consoles. This could be an exciting development for players and potentially open the game to a broader audience. However, the game needs to maintain a cohesive art style and target a specific audience to engage with players effectively. By focusing on these elements, World of Warcraft can continue to be a successful and popular game for years. Though Dragonflight has some promising potential, it must eliminate the heresy to reconcile with its targeted audience.